This week has been absolutely insane when it comes to leaks for Verdansk. And yet again, there was another bomb on the TL today with some new leaks that you are probably going to want to know. Popular leaker Ghost of Hope said might have something juicy for my Warzone followers in a few hours. As you guys probably already know, a couple days ago, he leaked when Verdansk is actually dropping. But before we get into those Ghost of Hope leaks, Raven Software just tweeted out this. You may notice something a little different starting today. In preparation for future updates, we will begin intermittently testing 150 players across standard Battle Royale playlists. We will be closely monitoring player feedback, performance, and overall impact on match flow over the coming weeks. Yes, you heard that correctly. We are finally getting a 150 player count back in BR. First and foremost, let's take a peek behind the curtain here and figure out why they're trying to do this. Raven Software used the googly eyes when making this tweet, which hints that there's a reason for them doing this. And if you read between the lines, the only logical explanation is that we are getting 150 players back for Verdansk. I've said this before in multiple videos, but 150 players makes the game actually feel like BR. When they dwindled the game down to 100 players back in Warzone 2, it honestly felt like it lost its BR experience. Wins didn't feel as satisfying anymore, and it really felt like they took away what made BR feel like BR. So the question is, can the servers actually hold 150 players? And does it actually even feel good? Well, Iceman Isaac tweeted out this. Played 120 player lobbies for 3 hours and 150 player lobbies for 3 hours and didn't feel any difference in server quality. Lobbies felt less barren, but nowhere near cramped. Still plenty of time between engagements, but less boring for sure. About damn time. And as you guys know, Iceman Isaac never pulls his punches and he always gives it to us straight. So seeing Isaac being somewhat happy about this, you can tell that this is probably a decent update with 150 players coming to BR. One of the responses to Isaac's tweet was this. Kinda insane to think this map launched with 100 players. So much more fun with 150, and I think people would have maybe enjoyed Urzikstan more if it had launched like this in Modern Warfare 3. Isaac then responded, and it took them like 6 months to make it 120 players. Another example of everyone at Next unanimously saying this is a horrible idea and they stuck with 100 players for months. We've said this time and time again, but at Call of Duty Next, myself included, a lot of content creators always give these developers feedback of what we think they should or shouldn't do. We told them bare minimum it needs to be 125, but preferably 150 players. And sure enough, 2 years after Modern Warfare 3's release and Urzikstan's release, they finally are giving us 150 players with only about a month left in the actual map itself. So now let's get into the actual leaks. About 3 hours after Ghost of Hope's original tweet, he came out with a tweet pretty much insinuating that floating loot is back. And then Charlie Intel tweeted out saying floating loot may return to Warzone with Verdansk per new reports via the Ghost of Hope. I personally don't really trust anybody except for Charlie Intel, so if Charlie Intel tweeted this, I believe this has to be somewhat true. Finally, after years and years of us telling Activision that this floor loot system just does not work, they have finally, hopefully, brought back floating loot. Right now, there's a lot of bugs with the game whenever you drop guns or drop your loot. Things tend to go through walls or underneath the ground or fall through multiple buildings, and honestly, it just doesn't feel good at all. I'm hoping that if this is true, that floating loot will make things a lot easier to pick up and even drop. I know there's so many people in the comments right now probably super excited for this. Maybe some people don't care, I don't know. Me personally, if this is true, I'm so happy to have floating loot back because honestly, the loot system right now is just horrible. This is one of yet many things that Warzone 2 introduced that hopefully we're finally going away from. Now don't worry, there's more leaks. Immediately after this, Ghost of Hope tweeted out this. There is currently plans for red doors to return on Verdansk in a future Warzone season. For those of y'all that don't know what red doors are, pretty much you would go into a red door and it would teleport you to a random place in Verdansk back in the day. These random destinations could be filled with crazy loot that included specialist bonus or even other places where you normally couldn't get into without a red door. Things like this are what made the game, in my opinion, a lot more fun. There was always that risk for reward here where you could go into that red door and possibly get a specialist bonus or thousands of dollars. Or it could send you completely outside of the map and you're stuck in the zone. One thing that I think a lot of people don't really think about is how much content we actually had back in Verdansk. Nakatomi Tower, red doors, the game felt like it was constantly changing and evolving. And that was possibly due to the fact that they didn't really have to fix the game like they do every year now. But this one isn't even the biggest bombshell of them all, and I've saved the best for last. But this is what Ghost of Hope tweeted after that. He said, take this with a grain of salt. Avalon may potentially be postponed from its original late 2025 release or completely canned for Warzone because of Verdansk's return. For those of you that don't know what Avalon is, this was the map that was supposed to come out in 2024 of December. But rumors suggest that Avalon was postponed due to the fact that they were building Verdansk out to hopefully release in March. But with Call of Duty seeing Fortnite's OG success, they decided to bring back Verdansk. As of right now, the speculation has always been that they are going to postpone it to hopefully December of 2025. Verdansk drops March of 2025. We then play Verdansk for the next 8 to 9 months, and then finally in December of 2025, Avalon is released. But if the rumor is that Avalon is possibly being canned, that brings up a lot of different other questions. All over the timeline, people have mixed feelings about this. Because on one hand, a lot of people want Verdansk to return, including myself. If there's no new Avalon map in December, does that mean they are going to just build off of Verdansk and continue off of that? Or will Avalon potentially be postponed and maybe March of 2026 we get Avalon and give us a whole year of Verdansk? The Gaming Revolution tweeted out saying the anti-innovation arc of Call of Duty needs to end. Fresh content getting scrapped for nostalgia won't work. Immediately after that, Tactical Brit said, Avalon looks set to be the best Warzone map to date just by flying over it. If this decision truly has been made, Warzone deserves to die a death to the next Battlefield BR. You had the opportunity to bring back a fun, colorful, movement-oriented sandbox, and you chose the same maps that guys will forget in a month. Avalon deserves better. But I want to play devil's advocate here, and I want you to let me know what you think. What I believe is that Call of Duty has seen a proof of concept somewhere that bringing a map back will not kill player count. Let's look at the one, the only golden child of Resurgence, Rebirth Island. Rebirth Island has been around for the last 5+ years, and I promise you that player count is probably incredibly healthy. Because if it wasn't, they wouldn't be bringing that map back so often every single year. Activision has tried maps such as Vondel, Fortune's Keep, Ashika Island, and for whatever reason, people continue to play Rebirth Island. That alone proves that people want to play what they're used to. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I believe this, because personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Rebirth in general, but I understand that there's people that like to get home from work and just play a map that they already know. Look at any Resurgence content creator, and you'll see that for the most part, they primarily only post Rebirth Island videos, and rarely even post any Area 99. And that's solely because Rebirth Island has more casuals and gets more views. So due to those things, I think that Verdansk will actually succeed. Only because Rebirth Island has proved that people can continue to play the same map consistently for the course of multiple years. And Ghost of Hope tweeted out something similar to what I'm saying. He said, for Warzone specifically, it definitely works though. How many fresh new BR maps have they launched since Verdansk, and how many of them do people actually like? Is it worth it to once again get rid of Verdansk and replace it with a map that people may not like? He brings up a very valid point, because what if they do scrap Verdansk and bring back Avalon and people hate it? At least for the most part, they know that people love Verdansk. On one side, you have people saying there should be new maps every year. On one side, you have people saying that Verdansk is the key to bring back Warzone. There's gotta be something in the middle, and that is rotational map playlists. This has been something that the community has been saying for a long time now, with Apex being able to do it and Fortnite being able to do this abundantly. Why not make it to where you have Verdansk on a timer and it rotates out with Avalon? Keep Verdansk as that OG fan favorite that everybody loves, and then every year bring in a new map that rotates with Verdansk. Avalon looks like a really beautiful map, and it reminds me of Blackout, and I think to completely scrap that map would be a waste. The biggest issues that we have heard about why they don't do this is due to increased file sizes in the game. Rumors suggest that adding a new big map would increase the file size of Call of Duty to more than hundreds of gigabytes. Intel then tweeted out this: Call of Duty 2025 could still release on PS4 and Xbox One, per sources. Supporting last gen in 2025 is a wild decision, but the game is in development for the old consoles from what we've heard. This may be a reason as to why there can't be two big maps in Warzone at the same time. So I think this boils down to two things. One, increased file sizes due to the old gen consoles. And then two, probably incorporating two big maps is not enough for these old gen consoles to handle. Whether you agree that game developers should continue to support old gen consoles or not, I think that Call of Duty has to do something here, because I think that one map in the rotation is not the play specifically for BR. At the very least, if they do decide to keep Verdansk and bring nothing else, I really do hope that they continue to bring new content to Verdansk and add new POIs and go from there. Call of Duty has to find a way to figure this out, and they have to find a way to include multiple maps in their rotation. Because even right now, with Verdansk coming back, some people are not even sure whether they want to even return to Verdansk. Take Tim the Tatman as an example. Watch this.
I'm not that excited for Verdansk. It's a comeback. I'm more excited for I like Marvel. I don't know. Will I go back and play Verdansk? I probably will, but I don't see myself going back for more than a stream or two, candidly. I mean, right now, because I have Marvel Rivals. Do you see this? Do you see what I have over here? I have a brand new game that is trending with very good updates, constant updates already, and it's being done well. This is really good. Do you see this? This is bad. This is bad. This is good. We love this. We don't like this.
We know that Verdansk is going to drop and there's going to be some sort of bugs and some sort of issues that come along with it. Not to mention the anti-cheat just does not exist. So here's to hoping that when Verdansk launches, things go well, and I hope and I pray that they can continue to build off of this momentum to come in hopefully a couple weeks.